When the top assassin in the country became a police officer, both sides of the law were thoroughly shaken up by him. On the street, a group of hooligans is bullying a girl. The police officers, who usually patrol the area, are hiding in their car and dare not come out. However, he, who used to be an assassin, is not afraid at all. Confronted with the hooligan's provocation, without saying a word, he slapped the hooligan across the jaw. Seeing this, the others immediately rushed forward in a group. Only a scream could be heard coming from the alley. In the blink of an eye, he knocked down all the people. The infuriated leader immediately pulled out a weapon. However, he took the initiative to press his body against the blade. I have seen many demons who kill without blinking. Their eyes are not like yours. If you dare not move, then you are dead for sure. The hooligan, who has always only known how to intimidate others, finally experiences what fear is. He has never seen any police officer exuding such a terrifying aura before. Who are you anyway? I'm a police officer specialized in cleaning up trash like you. Just a week ago, he was an assassin with the codename Eclipse. This operation is the final mission in Eclipse Assassin's career. He was assigned to carry it out with another assassin with the codename Maple. Eclipse was just about to ask what the mission was when suddenly a man appeared behind him, attempting to ambush him. Luckily, Eclipse reacted quickly. He grabbed the chain with both hands. Then he delivered a fierce elbow strike to the man's throat. The man instantly lost mobility. Eclipse asked viciously, "What are you doing?" The assassination target this time is actually Eclipse himself. They are holding a retirement ceremony for the legendary assassin. Faced with the encirclement of many elite assassins, Eclipse rushed forward and quickly knocked down one with a flying knee. Then, another one fell to his left leg. Although they are all assassins, Eclipse's strength is far above theirs. "If you want to come after me, is this all the trash you prepared?" Maple reluctantly took out a pistol. He told Eclipse that these are all orders from the Bodhisattva. "I can only follow orders as well." Eclipse did not expect that Bodhisattva would actually deceive him. He clearly said that as long as he completes this final task, he will be able to regain his freedom afterwards. "You had better go to hell to find this answer." Maple pulled the lever. The strong will to survive compelled Eclipse to pounce on it recklessly. At this moment, a monk in the temple was burning incense. Inside the censer was a card with the word, "Light," written on it. At this time, the phone rang. Monk asked if the task was completed. However, the voice on the other end of the phone was not Maple's. It said, "You, Monk, are now in the temple, right?" Monk was not surprised by this outcome. Monk is naturally in the temple. However, Eclipse, "Can you come in?" However, Eclipse has already arrived at the entrance of the temple. "If you dare not come out, then I will personally open this door." Many assassins stared fiercely at Eclipse with weapons in hand. The leader, a burly man, told him that the Bodhisattva was preparing a ritual. Eclipse couldn't help but sneer, saying, "Kidnapping people and turning them into killing machines. Someone who trades lives for money can still be called a Bodhisattva." After hearing the other side dare to speak ill of the Bodhisattva, the burly man raised his axe to split him in half. Eclipse bent down and slashed his abdomen with a knife. "You bastard, stay out of my way. I've been raised as a killing machine since I was young. That person took away everything from me. My body, my life, and my family." Eclipse's eyes have turned red by now. After killing all the assassins, Bodhisattva finally comes out to see him. "You promised to let me live a normal life. Didn't we already make a deal?" The Bodhisattva replied calmly, "So I am helping you now. People will eventually leave this world. This is the kind of life that ordinary people should have." The Bodhisattva said, then recited the phrase, Amitabha Buddha. He ended Eclipse's life with a single shot. I don't know how long it passed. Eclipse heard someone shouting his name. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself surrounded by police officers. And a female police officer even introduced herself as Jackson. When he saw the police badge and his own reflection in the mirror, he realized the legendary assassin Eclipse. He actually became a police officer after coming back from the dead. A colleague told him that he tried to end his own life by hanging himself. He has been lying in the hospital for a week now. And he also wrote the names of the seniors who often bully subordinates in his suicide note. After being discharged from the hospital, Chief of Police Weston found him immediately. "You wanted to end your life after learning about your parents' crime, didn't you? If you want to die, then just go ahead and die. How dare you even think about writing names to implicate others?" Weston immediately raised his hand to slap him across the face. However, I reached out and caught his wrist. Weston turned to ask the female police officer kneeling beside him, "Skylar, do you think this behavior is insubordinate?" Skylar replied, "I can't see anything facing down." Another chief of police, with a smirk on his face, squatted in front of her. "Let this senior take care of you," he said. "I'll help you up myself," Jackson cursed with, "A bunch of bastards. I didn't expect this place to be a mess too." He then grabbed the other person's wrist tightly. The intense pain made Weston feel like his bones were about to shatter. He cursed at Jackson to let go quickly. However, Jackson extended 2 fingers, poked directly on Weston's neck. Amidst the astonishment on everyone's faces, unconscious Weston instantly fell to the ground. Immediately, Jackson slowly raised his foot towards another chief of police. Then he ruthlessly stomped down. And the part he stepped on turned out to be a sensitive area. The twisted expression looked very painful. However, the other bullied colleagues not only did not appreciate him. Instead, they accused him of being presumptuous. Eclipse never expected to be betrayed by the organization in his past life. This time, he is going to be betrayed by his colleague. A group of people quickly reported the situation to Chief of Police Connor. The police officers actually started fighting each other, and they even dared to hit their senior. "Do you think government officials can't be fired? Please take off your clothes and leave right away." After he came out of the office, his colleagues all cursed him, asking if he had gone crazy. "Don't you remember that the fathers of those seniors are all police officers? Police officers are a presence we can never afford to offend in our entire lives. So Jackson, have a safe journey. We will always miss you." Eclipse finally understands why the assassin organization has never been caught. Their internal affairs are so corrupt. When Eclipse returns home and sees the broken rope from hanging, they fall into contemplation. Jackson was abandoned by his parents and the organization, and ultimately ended his life. His fate mirrors their own, since God has given oneself a chance to be reborn. Then this time, oneself must break free from fate. That night, Eclipse arrived at the Western Police Station. He found his old acquaintance from a past life, Hudson, who couldn't believe that he had been reborn as a police officer. However, Eclipse said, "I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm not threatening you, Mr. Security Monitor. Let me help you with the sweep of HG Temple." Hudson was shocked. The other party actually knew about this matter. "Who are you exactly?" Hudson quietly took out the walkie-talkie in an attempt to seek support. However, all that came from inside was a chorus of screams. Eclipse's face gradually darkened. "I have been saying all along that I am not asking for your help. I am truly threatening you." Hudson was scared and sweating profusely. He asked once again, "Who are you?" "I am Eclipse Hudson." Naturally, Hudson didn't believe it. So Eclipse talked about the agreement made 3 years ago. At that time, Hudson was just a chief inspector. Because he was investigating the true identity of HG Temple, Bodhisattva sent Eclipse to teach him a lesson. However, Eclipse did not kill him. The condition was that Hudson must capture that monk within 3 years. Hudson asked why. "Are you from the same organization?" And Eclipse's response was, "I don't like monk. Because they are all bald. Now 3 years have passed. You did not keep our agreement. But you have been promoted quite quickly in these 3 years. It seems you have put a lot of effort into kissing up. So you better go die." Hudson quickly explains that it's not that I didn't keep my promise. It's that I couldn't keep my promise. I came here to flatter and gather information easily. When Hudson initially proposed that the Bodhisattva of H.G. Temple was the boss of the assassination organization, this caused a lot of ridicule from everyone. H.G. Temple is a cultural heritage site. You must have watched too many comics. Hudson just wanted to provide additional evidence. He was harshly criticized by senior management. You will be condemned for doing this. We must not touch such things. Eclipse decided to let it go for now after hearing this. But this is only temporary. I will help you not to die by my hand. But in the future, you must also meet my requirements. The next day, the door of the police station was suddenly kicked open by someone. When they saw that the visitor was Jackson, colleagues looked puzzled. Weren't you kicked out? Such a big commotion naturally startled Chief of Police Connor. He pointed at Jackson and cursed loudly. Didn't I say you were not allowed to come back anymore? You get out of here now. Just then, a figure appeared behind Jackson. Connor was so scared that his jaw almost dropped. It turned out to be the high and mighty Mr. Security Monitor. How come you came to a small place like ours? Hudson patted Jackson's shoulder and said kindly, I came to see where Jackson works. Connor is starting to stutter when he talks. What is your relationship with Jackson, the patrol officer? Jackson, the patrol officer, is like my lifesaver. Please take care of our hero, Jackson, in the future. I didn't expect class to be such a powerful thing in Eclipse. He then asked Hudson for one last favor. In the evening, the Bodhisattva is knocking the wooden fish. A figure appeared silently at the door. Who are you? I am a lingering spirit in this world due to harboring hatred. Bodhisattva pulled out the burning incense from the censer and shot it all at the mysterious person in front. The bottoms of these incenses are all sharp steel needles. The mysterious person skillfully avoided all attacks. How can you, as a monk, behave so recklessly in Bodhisattva's presence? The master behind the mask is already dead. Who are you exactly? I told you I am a lingering spirit. Just then, the monk snapped his fingers. Several men appeared instantly. Since you are a lingering spirit, let me help you attain enlightenment. On the surface, he is the compassionate H.G. Temple abbot. But behind the scenes, he is the mastermind of a top assassin organization. That day, he personally killed Eclipse, the strongest assassin who had lost his value of utility. However, Eclipse was reborn in the body of the deceased policeman Jackson. The newly resurrected Eclipse once again found the hypocritical monk. He claimed to be the vengeful undead here for revenge. Monk snapped his fingers. A group of assassins appeared in an instant. Since you are undead, allow me to guide you to enlightenment, Eclipse said before striking down one of them. He took the dagger from his hand. Then he swiftly made a slash with the knife. He instantly killed 4 assassins. The remaining people were completely scared silly. They all stood there motionless, afraid to make a move. Eclipse began mocking Monk. Looks like you'll have to take care of a few more souls again. But you must remember to take good care of them. Otherwise, they'll end up like me, turning into undead seeking you. Monk knew that these people were no match for him, so he had them all retreat. Although I don't know who sent you, you seem to be possessed by an evil spirit. It looks like I have to personally perform an exorcism on you. Let me see what you look like under the mask, Eclipse hurriedly said. Let's leave that for another day. I just came by today to say hello to you. You will naturally know who I am in the future. Just wash your neck and wait for me. Monk suddenly rushed over before Eclipse could finish speaking. Just as the hand was about to grab the mask, a puff of smoke and an explosion instantly filled the entire room. It turned out to be a tear gas grenade. When the smoke cleared, Eclipse was nowhere to be seen. Monk crushed the mask in his hand. He then looked at the cards placed in the incense burner. Could it be that spirits exist in the world? The next day, Security Monitor Hudson's face was full of fatigue. Eclipse asked him why he looked so terrible. Hudson said it was all because of you. You not only injured all the people in my police station, but also made me help you steal tear gas grenades. I am busy and in a mess trying to clean up the aftermath for you. Eclipse said who prevented you from catching that monk early, but Hudson said everything must be based on evidence. The kid like you who kills people randomly just doesn't understand. Eclipse said that I only kill those who deserve to die. Otherwise, you would have died in my hands long ago. Hudson warned him that no one has the right to take away another person's life, even if that person deserves to die. Everyone must accept the judgment of the laws established by society. Then why hasn't that monk been judged yet? Even if we miss 10 criminals, we cannot let one person suffer injustice. Eclipse has long been tired of this argument. Why do you need evidence for everything you do? Otherwise, I might as well form a team and investigate it myself. Hudson scolded. You are just a small patrol officer. What qualifications do you have to form a team? At least you need to become a security guard before you can do that. Eclipse is immediately interested when he hears this. It seems like I need to work hard and focus on getting promoted next. After returning to the police station, he asked Skylar how he could get promoted quickly. Skylar said that first, he must work for a full year. Then he needs to take the promotion exam. It would take at least 10 years to move up from a patrol officer to a security guard. Even with security monitor Hudson backing you up, you will still need to go through an exam. However, there is one exception. If you capture a major criminal, you can get promoted as a special case. Skylar hadn't finished speaking when Jackson, who was just in front of them, disappeared in the blink of an eye. And at this moment, he had already arrived at the busiest street of the night. It was filled not only with various transactions. Here, various fights and brawls often occur. Eclipse, wearing a police uniform, stood out on the street. He had been an assassin all his life and had never read a book. Therefore, it was not a bad choice to be promoted through capturing criminals. Among the national population, 1 in every 3 people has a criminal record, including those with minor offenses. However, even so, there are simply too many people who have committed crimes. And the people Eclipse is currently looking for are not just those with minor offenses. After a round of inspections, he finally found a target that could help him quickly advance in his career. Such behavior is a serious offense. At this moment, the music in the bar suddenly stopped. A long-haired man asked why no one was dancing. Could it be that they used their waists too much last night? A beautiful woman in the audience said, as long as you can open champagne, we guarantee we will have a great time. The long-haired man had a wicked smile on his face. Since you really want it, then all of you ladies should open your mouths. Then he took out a stack of plaster. Have all the handsome guys got a backache? Then you all must catch them all. Everyone spent a passionate night together. Just then, a discordant voice appeared. Passion my ass. You guys going to have a hot prison meal with me is about the same. This thing is strictly prohibited. A group of people immediately changed their expressions upon hearing that it was prohibited drugs. The long-haired man who was exposed became angry and embarrassed. Who are you, after all? Eclipse took off the jacket and revealed the uniform inside. Why don't you take a guess? Upon seeing that the newcomer was a policeman, the long-haired man quickly turned and tried to escape through the back door. However, the back door had already been locked. Those outside had also been dealt with by Eclipse. The long-haired man and his accomplices were now trapped. Soon, they realized that there was only one police officer chasing after them. You wouldn't have come alone for this operation, would you? So what if I did? The long-haired man revealed a sinister smile. One person dares to come here. Today, I will make sure you won't leave here alive. The man next to me took out a red plaster from his pocket. He then put the plaster on his neck. The next second, his body bulged with veins. The two of them roared like they were having a seizure. You guys shouted too early. The person who was knocked down began to wail in pain while holding his nose. Eclipse said that this is the right way. You should only shout when it hurts. The following scene is very brutal. The long-haired man was frightened and collapsed on the ground. He began to beg the police for mercy. "Just spare me. I will give you whatever you want." However, Eclipse stated that, "I just want a quick promotion." The next day, the news started to report that a criminal gang had been arrested by the police, and Eclipse was thus promoted to the level of chief of police. Hudson was about to criticize him for his inhumane way of arresting someone. Eclipse, however, took out something. "I saw it tightly wrapped in leaves. This is the prohibited drugs I found in their vault." Hudson was very surprised. "You actually took the evidence out privately." Eclipse opened the leaves and said, "Don't you remember anything when you see it?" The legendary November Phoenix and Wudong. At this moment, a man wearing a headgear is holding a red plaster in his hand, and a person with 2 plasters on him is kneeling on the ground, begging for mercy. The criminal team seized by Eclipse falls under his jurisdiction. The leader is punishing him for this. As the 3rd plaster is placed on his body, the man's body explodes on the spot, and the woman in front of them is their Phoenix. She is also one of the assassins under Monk. Eclipse's brother left the world in December. Maple also received a lesson. Phoenix is particularly cautious at the moment. She doesn't want to be taught a lesson by Bodhisattva, so she wants to personally teach this police officer a lesson. When the assassin switched careers to become a police officer, getting promoted and a raise was as easy as pie. Eclipse went alone to destroy the criminal's den of fellow assassins. He quickly rose through the ranks to become a chief of police. This made the leader of the criminal organization, Phoenix and Wudong, very angry. In order to avoid punishment from the Bodhisattva, she decided to personally teach the police officer a lesson. After Eclipse was promoted to chief of police, 3 former colleagues all came running over to request the same special promotion as him. They hope that Eclipse can bring them along on the next operation. However, Eclipse responded, "Why should I bring you guys? I am sufficient on my own." Skylar started playing the emotional card. "Have you forgotten how good we have been to you in the past? We suffered punishment with you. We even went to the hospital to see you." At this time, someone said, "We are colleagues who support each other, you know." This sentence reminded Eclipse of some bad memories. Initially, he was designated as the first assassin by Bodhisattva. This made the other assassins quite discontent. Just killing someone like that, and still distinguishing between good and bad people. Why should he still rank first among us? Phoenix is even more full of jealousy towards him. Who made our brother Eclipse receive favoritism from Bodhisattva? Can't you just go die directly? So when someone mentions a colleague in front of Eclipse, his anger instantly rises. Colleagues are just a fart. Get promoted first before talking to me. Who do you tiny ones call colleagues? Skylar was so angry that he wanted to confront him one-on-one immediately. Fortunately, at this moment, the director appeared. He started to scold the 3 of them loudly. "You lazy bunch are slacking off here again. Of course, except for our Jackson. Our lucky star at the police station. Is there anywhere uncomfortable?" Then he began to shamelessly flatter him. Thanks to Eclipse, he has accomplished a great deed this time. The chief is also likely to be promoted soon. At the same time, the 2 seniors who were sent to the hospital by Eclipse have also been discharged. They were very angry when they found out that Jackson not only had security monitor as a background, but also got a special promotion. "We must find someone to pull this kid off the stage." Just then, a sexy voice came from behind them. "Gentlemen officers, may I ask you for directions?" After speaking, she intentionally bent over, revealing a touch of softness. This made the already lecherous chief of police instantly flush with excitement. They quickly stepped forward to inquire where the beautiful woman wanted to go. Coincidentally, the place she wanted to go was the police station where they were located. However, upon arrival, the beautiful woman asked them if they knew Jackson because she had something taken by Jackson. If this thing can't be found, it will be all over. The 2 chiefs of police were sweating profusely. They thought it was her boyfriend. They almost didn't offer to help her, to express gratitude. The beauty brought out some pastries to treat them. Not long after, an unexpected visitor showed up at the police station. And the two chiefs of police from earlier were lying unconscious on the ground. The beauty pointed excitedly at the eclipse and shouted, "Finally, I found you, my police officer brother." She claimed to have lost a wutong leaf. It contains a blue wutong flower inside. Skylar just wanted to go check the lost items list. The woman said there was no need to look anymore, because it was in the hands of that police officer brother. Everyone looked at Jackson with a puzzled expression on their faces. Eclipse cursed under his breath. This bitch's personality hasn't changed at all. He intended to notify security monitor Hudson to come for support. He found that there was interference blocking the radio waves for communication. The monitor's recording kept emitting a faint buzzing sound. The reason why this woman is so crazy is all because of what happened in her childhood. At that time, Bodhisattva brought many children for Eclipse to check if they were useful. Among them were November Phoenix and Wudong Bodhisattva, who inquired whether this group of children had potential. Eclipse expressed that they weren't of much use. Soon after, the Bodhisattva snapped his fingers, causing all of them to achieve enlightenment. Eclipse did not expect this outcome at all. He quickly added that with a bit of training, he would certainly be able to help us in the future. However, Bodhisattva retorted grimly, "I've always said that compassion isn't a good thing." Following that, all those children were forced to take lethal poison. Phoenix has a strong will to survive. She vowed to do everything she could to help Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva joked, "Since the little girl wants to be useful, maybe you can be of use in the next life after going through reincarnation. It might be faster that way." Let Phoenix struggle as much as it wants. She still couldn't escape the fate of drinking the poison. However, it was during the final cleanup that someone discovered that the little girl was actually still alive. And that's how she successfully regained her life. But life afterwards was like hell. Bodhisattva made her take a large amount of medication every day to cultivate her body's resistance to medication. When she grows up, Bodhisattva will call her Phoenix of November. Phoenix is extremely loyal to Bodhisattva. Her greatest wish is to be useful. Now she has become an irredeemable lunatic addicted to drugs. The police officer kept silent. Phoenix's mental state gradually began to spiral out of control. And Eclipse is contemplating how to deal with her. It's not a good idea to lay hands on her, with so many people around here. Later he came up with a solution. That is to falsely claim that the items are at his own house. He first let her out, then found an opportunity to take her life. Just when Eclipse was about to take her home, Phoenix directly exposed his lies. "Brother, how could you possibly keep prohibited drugs in the house? Do you think I would believe what you say?" She then took out a stack of plasters from the bag and threw them towards Eclipse. 3 colleagues behind were unfortunate enough to be hit. The next second, the veins on their faces bulged. Immediately after, they all fainted. At the same time, the others were also drugged by 2 people wearing headsets. Phoenix threatened that as long as he handed over the prohibited drugs, he would spare their lives. Suddenly, Eclipse's hand swiftly rushed over. Although Phoenix dodged the attack in time, but her clothes were torn apart. It turns out that Eclipse's target was just the obstruction of electromagnetic wave emitter on her body. Now the signal has returned to normal. He immediately called Hudson to request support. Phoenix complained, "What's wrong with you, brother? Why did you tear someone's clothes?" Eclipse picked up the baton with a wicked smile. "You'll understand after a few more beatings. I will make you remember the past events." The woman had her clothes torn apart by the police in public. He also claimed that he would show her the power of a baton. This made the already psychologically distorted Phoenix even more excited. This brother speaks really rudely. You tear someone's clothes and threaten to hit a woman. Do you have such inclinations? Eclipse didn't say a word and gave her a baton. Phoenix bent over to dodge the attack. Immediately following was a flying knee directly hitting her face. She quickly distanced herself from the opponent. A sudden pain surged through her forehead. I can't believe I was hit by the other person until I bled. Phoenix's face immediately turned extremely grim. You rotten cop. Don't want to live anymore. You are still the same. You look really damn ugly when you are angry. Phoenix licked the blood on his hand. You don't seem like an ordinary police officer. Are you from a special forces background? Later, she took out a red plaster. I don't care about your background. Because you are about to die soon. Phoenix's strength and speed have both doubled under the blessing of plaster. She was hit hard by a stick as soon as she charged up. Do you think just sticking a plaster on it is really enough? Won't you learn your lesson after getting beaten up? You should at least stick on 10 plasters if you want to spar with me. That year, Phoenix was beaten up and held his head with both hands. However, she did not hesitate to fight back. You dare to treat me like this, kid? You are just the same as before, without any changes at all. You only rely on medication. You never think about exercising your body. Phoenix is a bit puzzled. Who are you, kid? How dare you pretend to know me? Eclipse suddenly bends down in a squat. He hits his legs with a stick. Phoenix was overturned directly onto the ground by Eclipse, who then pinned her under his body. Who am I? Take a few more hits, and you'll get to know yourself better. Although your brain has been messed up by drugs. But you should be able to figure out who I am when it comes to the death. Just go die obediently. However, at this moment, there was a sudden unexpected appearance. Under Eclipse's vigorous sprint, the sturdy police baton unexpectedly retracted on its own. Phoenix seized the opportunity to push it off his body. Eclipse cursed under his breath. Why is the quality of this police baton so poor? Is this the cheap stuff they give to the police? How am I supposed to fight like this? Phoenix calmed down and launched another attack. Eclipse hurriedly used his arms to block in front of him. However, his hands were experiencing a tingling sensation. At this moment, he noticed that the plaster on Phoenix's forehead had been changed to a style he had never seen before. At the same time, his own hands also began to swell with veins. Just by touching his clothes lightly, they turned out like this. Fortunately, Phoenix's condition is not very good either. What on earth are you? Why do you remind me of that dead guy? The person beside me said that the police reinforcement team is about to arrive. Let's leave quickly. Eclipse also waved urgently at her. You should hurry and leave. We will meet again in the future anyway. Because it's impossible to catch her with only the police. Whoever dares to touch her will be instantly beaten to death. Phoenix did not expect this police officer to be so mysterious and unpredictable. At the moment, can only choose to temporarily retreat. Her body was trembling uncontrollably from fear. Why did that police officer have traces of Eclipse's brother on him? After Hudson arrived, he questioned Eclipse about why she hadn't been captured. The next second, a baton was thrown over. You have the nerve to ask me. If it weren't for this cheap product, I would have caught them long ago. Now I can't use my arms at all. This situation completely exceeded Eclipse's expectations. Fortunately, Phoenix was scared and ran away. Just by touching clothes, the virus can be transmitted. This has enhanced the efficacy of the previous medication. It is still a new medication. She has completely turned into a walking prohibited drugs. I originally thought I could easily get rid of her. He then asked Hudson for a favor. In the evening, Eclipse returned to his home. At this time, two people had already set a trap. Accompanied by an explosion, a cloud of smoke instantly filled the entire room. Inhaling this prohibited drug will create hallucinations. However, Phoenix said to increase the dosage. It's better to just kill you directly. However, Eclipse has already borrowed a set of equipment from Hudson in advance. And he said he doesn't want cheap goods. The more expensive, the better. He had long guessed that Phoenix would not let him go. He just didn't expect that she would be scared enough to only send her subordinates over. What a coward. This time, let you guys taste the expensive equipment. Because Phoenix saw a shadow of her brother Eclipse on this cop, which scared her almost to the point of losing control of her bladder. So that night, she only sent 2 henchmen to sneak attack. She herself was too scared to come. However, Eclipse came equipped with expensive gear. The 2 henchmen were scared stiff on the spot. One of them was just about to say there was no need to be afraid. This thing looks fake at a glance. The next second, Eclipse unleashed a full-on assault on them. The 2 were directly shot into a sieve by him. Indeed, expensive equipment. The quality is really good. Hudson, who arrived at the scene, couldn't bear to look after seeing the 2 men's appearance. Although rubber bullets were loaded inside, how many shots did you fire after all? Are you sure they are still alive? Eclipse said they have capsules for self-termination hidden under their tongues. They must be removed first. At this moment, Hudson finally believed that he really was Eclipse. Did you doubt me all this time? Then why did you still lend me equipment? I'll just consider myself deceived. Who would believe that someone could be reborn? But from the prohibited drugs to this Phoenix case, I already 99% believe you are Eclipse in this matter. That's why there is still 1% of doubt left. It's because if you are Eclipse, why not just find that monk and kill him directly? Eclipse said, "Didn't you say that we need evidence? That's our position as police officers. But in your position, killing is the first choice." Eclipse went on to explain that the whole country now regards that monk as the reincarnation of a living Buddha. If he were to be killed directly, how do you think people would remember him? And this matter is not as simple as just getting rid of him. Their world is even more complex than you think. Is there another organization besides HG Temple? Eclipse said that other organizations are not my concern. What I want is to make that monk fall from grace. I won't let anyone else follow the path I have taken. Hudson suddenly reached out his hand. "I will help you catch that monk," he said, surprising Eclipse. "What, you'll help me?" Clearly, it was me helping you so you wouldn't die in my hands. If you still want to live, then do what I asked you to do properly. There is one last thing. It's not that I don't want to take him out. It's just that I don't have the power to do it right now. At this moment, Phoenix is desperately begging for mercy. When the Bodhisattva learned that she lost the medicine and broke into the police station, he was very angry. "Are you, this crazy woman, taking too much medication? Your brain seems to have gone bad along with it. Who gave you the courage to cause trouble at the police station? This time, you better obediently accept the lesson." Phoenix scrabbled desperately outward, like a dog. At this time, someone on the side mocked. "Look at you crying. You drug dealer are so ugly." Phoenix just wanted to ask the Branch brothers why they were here. Another person appeared in front of her. Of course, it was Bodhisattva who called us here. Sakura, this prostitute, also came. At this moment, Bodhisattva spoke to everyone. "Now that you have all gathered, the ceremony for dealing with Phoenix of November will begin now." Phoenix lost prohibited drugs and acted without permission. Bodhisattva has decided to personally help Phoenix ascend to Buddhahood. Phoenix is frightened and begging for mercy. "I will definitely help you find the lost drugs." However, Bodhisattva said it was not necessary. "I have already sent someone to retrieve that thing." He then asked the audience for their opinions on how to handle the matter with Phoenix. Branch brothers said they should definitely take her out. How could there be such a despicable bitch who chooses to rely on drugs to become stronger? Sakura also expressed agreement with this, although she is very reluctant to do so. But the world of masters is so cold and ruthless. According to the opinions of the majority of people, Bodhisattva officially announced that she would be given salvation. Phoenix finally understood that he was determined to kill himself. So he called those bastards he had a bad relationship with to come over. Then Sakura handed over the weapon that Bodhisattva liked to use the most. "I don't need people who are of no use to my school." Amitabha Buddha pulled the trigger. Phoenix hastily said that they had developed a new drug. Its potency is 5 times stronger than current prohibited drugs. Additionally, it is difficult to detect during security checks. Bodhisattva slowly lowered their weapon. "How much has been produced, And where are the sales points? About 10 kilograms have been produced. I have already arranged sales points in several neighboring countries. Please give me half a year. I will definitely become a useful person for you. Bodhisattva said that because of the stupid things you did, I have lost too much. I only give you 3 months to prove yourself. And so Phoenix has once again regained a life. At this moment, Hudson has discovered that there is a mole within the police force. The prohibited drugs that were originally there have disappeared out of nowhere. Eclipse doesn't seem to care about this. They can just reclaim the drugs once they catch Phoenix, that expletive. Handle the internal police matters yourself. Also, didn't you mention the HG Temple Task Force before? When are they starting to work? Hudson's face immediately turned very unpleasant. In fact, they have all already sacrificed themselves. The fist the size of a sandbag swung up immediately. You dare to lie to me, kid? I see you don't want to live. Hudson quickly said. You personally come and organize a team. Didn't you say before that you need to be promoted to security guard in order to organize a team? With me, a security monitor, backing you up. Who dares to object? However, Eclipse was the first to raise their hand in opposition. I am already used to acting alone. Hudson said that police officers are organized. Acting alone would bring many constraints. And this is the order I, as a security monitor, give you. You must act as a team. If I form a team by myself, I will be under too much surveillance by too many people. The risk and burden are significant. However, Eclipse is not allowed to command. I want you to come and beg me personally. Hudson had to save face and said, I beg you to please form a team. Afterwards, Eclipse told the 3 colleagues about forming a team. A chief of police can actually form a team. It's no wonder he has connections. When Skylar asked who the team members were, Eclipse actually said, Of course it's you guys. The levels of the police station are lower than ours. Everyone was instantly moved to tears. It turns out you still have us in your heart. Is this the friendship between colleagues? We will definitely work hard. However, Eclipse does not consider themselves as your colleagues. Is there no self-awareness at all? You all listen carefully. I only need obedient people. Our relationship is not colleagues. From now on, you are all my slaves. If you understand, shout, Master, immediately for me to hear. Then I agree to let you be my team members. Eclipse, this pervert, unexpectedly made colleagues his slaves. Before this, Hudson showed him the detailed profiles of these 3 people. The one with a lot of hair is called Dylan. He is proficient in boxing, Muay Thai, and Taekwondo, although he looks very powerful in combat. However, he failed the written exams 4 times. A classic case of being strong physically but weak mentally. At this point, he still thought that Eclipse made them call him Master. Others looked at him as if he were a fool. The man with hair lost next to Master is called Luca. He is proficient in another type of martial arts, such as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. But on the day of the interview, he was scared to the point of crying. He is a super scaredy cat. Now hearing Eclipse makes them call themselves Master. His helpless tears flowed again. The last woman is named Skylar. She doesn't know any martial arts. She also ranked last in the physical fitness test. She is the weakest link among the police officers. But she ranked first in the written test. So she has a high IQ, particularly good at observing people's expressions and flattery. Therefore, she was the first to step forward and volunteered to be the Eclipse Master. The trio called out on the weekend were confused. Eclipse suggested playing a role-playing game with them. My role is a ruthless criminal. Give yourself 5 minutes to warm up. Then all of you rush over and restrain me. Dylan obviously hasn't realized the seriousness of the issue. Is it really okay for 3 against 1? What if Master gets hurt? Eclipse glared at them with a murderous look. There are still 4 minutes of preparation time left. Afterward, the trio squatted on the ground to discuss countermeasures. Is that bastard Jackson crazy? Skylar, don't you call him master? Forget it, he can't hear us anyway. However, Eclipse said, I can hear everything. Startled, everyone quickly changed back to calling him master. Skylar was in charge of intelligence. She instructed Dylan to rush forward at the beginning to attract the opponent's attention with his footsteps. Then Luca took advantage of the opportunity to use jujitsu to lock him up while he was off guard. The plan was perfect. But when they saw Eclipse take off his clothes, revealing his 8-pack abs, the three couldn't help but break a sweat. When did this kid become a real man? Skylar instructed Dylan to proceed according to the original plan. He then started tap dancing in place. You silly person. You need to go in front of him. However, the next second Dylan was punched and flew back directly. Eclipse is speechless at these people. Are you kidding me? This is how you act when facing criminals. Skylar hurriedly told Luca to rush forward. However, he was scared and turned his head and ran away. Eclipse quickly caught up with him. Surprisingly, he left his back to the criminal. Will you ever learn to be a police officer, you fool? I saw the two people with the best physical abilities being dealt with. Skylar, this piece of trash with a combat power of 0, can't make a splash at all. She knelt down very tactfully and begged Master to spare her life. You wouldn't even hit a woman, right? Eclipse slowly lifted her chin. Aren't women also police officers? This group of weaklings is even more speechless than he imagined. Train 3 times in this way today. If you don't want to get beaten, rush at me with all your might and subdue me. Hudson advised Eclipse not to train too rigorously afterwards. Most people can't handle your punches. However, Eclipse asked, are the people we need to catch just ordinary people? Also, why hasn't any result been obtained from the interrogation you conducted until now? Hudson said they refused to speak no matter what, so there's nothing I can do. It's all my fault for choosing to believe you police officers. From now on, I'll take charge of the interrogation. Hudson quickly reminded him not to use torture. However, Eclipse was full of confidence. I have a better way. Eclipse disguised himself as he was before. When he entered the interrogation room, he immediately called out the names of the two people. This shocked them greatly. Who are you really? Long time no see, everyone. I am Eclipse. Next, please tell me everything you know. Of course, two people would not believe it. Eclipse has long passed away. However, Eclipse pointed at one of them and said, I've seen you, kid. The scar on your body was caused by a stiletto heel, right? You secretly took the medicine without telling Phoenix back then. After being discovered, you received a harsh beating as punishment. The suspicions between the two disappeared instantly. But didn't Eclipse pass away? Eclipse explained that it was a top-secret mission. He asked me to fake my death and then infiltrate the police force. I heard that Phoenix lost the drugs and also trespassed the police station. She ended up coming back without any achievement. What is that B*TCH doing now? I have turned off the recorder. Feel free to speak up. According to Bodhisattva's character, if Phoenix stirs up trouble, I will definitely take care of her. The two of them quickly revealed everything they knew as soon as they heard it. Bodhisattva will not blame Master Phoenix, because she is now making new prohibited drugs. Hudson didn't expect this guy to be so crazy. The effect of the drug is actually 5 times stronger than the previous prohibited drugs. Eclipse said they want to circulate the drug in the market within 6 months. I got hold of the address of the underground nightclub operated by Phoenix's cadre. The location of the criminals circulating these prohibited drugs is also known. As for Phoenix's residence, only her cadre should know. So the first thing to do now is to go and arrest those cadres. Just rescue the Phoenix, who was nearly killed by Bodhisattva and is still in a frightened state. When the cadres heard that they had to sell the goods within 3 months, they all thought that such a short time was too rushed. And 2 of your subordinates were also arrested by the police. You should try to negotiate for more time with Bodhisattva. Being in such a hurry can easily lead to accidents. Phoenix said sternly. Can you take the responsibility if Bodhisattva blames you in the end? Someone immediately expressed that they would take responsibility if something happened. You are overreacting a little now. What happened exactly when I wasn't around? Phoenix clearly stated that when I say 3 months, it means 3 months. Matthew, you contact the distributor to advance the schedule. Jim, please prepare the medication as soon as possible. As for this person named Sadie, her role is to provide comfort to Phoenix when exhausted. At this point, the 3 of them are completely unable to function under Eclipse's training. Jackson, are you being too much? Using this kind of method to train us. Aren't you the one who said you're willing to do anything? Skylar said, we joined your team to catch criminals, not to fight you. If you are so eager to catch criminals, then follow me. Shortly after, Eclipse led them to a remote warehouse. After entering, the 3 people were stunned on the spot. Because the people in front of their eyes are criminals who are selling prohibited drugs. What are you all looking at me for? Aren't there criminals in front of you? Hurry up and go arrest them, my police officers. When they saw the real criminals, the 3 of them immediately got scared. However, Eclipse had a smirk on his face. Wishing you all a pleasant time. Afterwards, he locked everyone in the warehouse.